Okay, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to the INHOPE Expert Insights webinar series. Today's session is focused on the 2024 INHOPE Annual Report and is possible thanks to the support of our partner, Resolver. My name is Jesus Valverde, INHOPE's Network Manager, and I will be the host of the event. Before we start, I would like to mention the following. This webinar will be recorded and will be available online afterwards. We will also be publishing a recap article. Please be aware of your surroundings and make sure nobody else has access to your screen. All participants have been muted and the video has been disabled so that we can manage the room. Only speakers will be unmuted and video enabled. If you have a question, we would love to hear it. Please submit your questions via the dedicated Q&A. If we run out of time, if there are unaddressed questions, please send them to communications@inhope.org and we will get back to you. Now, I would like to hand over the floor to Robert Hobbing, INHOPE President, for the opening remarks.
Thank you very much, Jesus. And it's an honor to welcome you all here to the launch of INHOPE's annual report of last year. And I want to begin by thanking our hotlines and partners. Your dedication is the backbone of the fight to protect children online against sexual abuse and against sexual exploitation in the digital space requires strong collaboration between governments, industry, civil society, law enforcement. I want to have a special thanks to our partner Resolver for sponsoring the webinar series and as well to the European Commission for their support in producing this report, demonstrating the power of working together because it not only needs a village to raise a child, it needs a village to protect the child as well. And I think the network of hotlines is crucial in that protection. Just today, I had a conversation with our privacy authority, and having international data and trends strengthens me if I send a notice of takedown and it's not followed up. And in sending those notices of takedown, the hotlines play a crucial role in identifying, removing, and preventing the spread of child sexual abuse material, and so ensuring no re-victimization. And our hotlines are the reason we have this report in the first place. INHOPE is uniquely positioned to collect data across 51 countries and growing, to provide insights into the latest trends and statistics on online child abuse. Tracking global trends and emerging threats allows us to stay ahead and to stay innovative in combating this form of criminality. Last year tested our resilience as well, as we as hotlines have never faced such high numbers. And also new trends in the distribution of child sexual abuse material, in which my colleagues will go into later. The information collected last year underscores both the growing scale of the problem and the need to innovatively respond together for the threats in the online world for child safety. And except thanking Resolver and thanking the European Commission, I want to thank the Secretariat as well, because their resilience has been tested in 2024 as well. The report is as well a call to action for 2025. We've made progress, but the challenges remain. Protecting children online is a shared responsibility. And our ability to do so depends on being able to do so in a sustainable way and to have sustainable commitment to do so. And together, we must continue to keep on investing in innovative solutions to strengthen this fight and as well to ensure that we expand the network. Because too often we see that images move to countries where there is no hotline. Kalina, Zografska and Grete Raidma will now present a first look into the data, trends and developments of the last year that illustrate the importance of continued cross-sector cooperation. Ladies, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you very much, Robert. Kalina, would you like to start?
Yes, of course. Thank you for everyone who joined. We, as a secretariat, have to admit that we peaked the members, the attendee list before attending this webinar, and it's a pleasure to welcome you all, including people from policy, from our own member networks, and from industry here. As you know, INHOPE is the leading global network combating child sexual abuse material. We have hotline analysts which are trained by Interpol to classify the illegality of the material. If you see the slide before us, you will see the map of everywhere where we have an INHOPE hotline. Next slide, please. The role of our hotlines are varied, and their mandates and the capacity in which they operate vary across our membership. They serve as a national reporting mechanism. They often have a direct cooperation with national law enforcement, with national electronic providers, where they direct the takedown notices, and they ensure that there is a rapid removal of CSAM online in their own hosting country. INHOPE exists as a part of a growing network so that we make the network and the hotlines more than the sum of their parts. Next slide, please. And if we talk about INHOPE as a network of hotlines, we cannot talk about it without mentioning ICCAN, which is the flagship technology platform where the exchange of report takes place. So if we go from left to right, we would see a hotline in country A. How does it exchange reports with hotline in country B? So a report is received, and on one hand, the hotline in country A sends it to law enforcement and sends it to the hosting provider within their country. The report is then exchanged through ICCAN, which is hosted at the Interpol headquarters in the context of a law enforcement environment, and is then exchanged to the hotline in country B. There are several modular functionalities within the system that enable that several of the key components of this exchange are automated, including tracing where the report is located, matching it with known content so that analysts are not exposed, etc., etc. And in the end, this system is a system of record where we extract statistics about what our hotlines have done in the past year, and this is what we will be presenting to you today. So in the next two sections, I will be talking about two sections. One, the statistics, which are the data insights, and then a second section where we will go into more of anecdotes and open-ended key trends that we have collected from the network. So if we start from the data insights of 2024, we will first talk about the number of exchange content. You can think of this as the top of the funnel, basically the top line number about the total of reports exchanged through the platform. This is the number that you haven't seen before and is an all-time record in the history of existence of ICCAN, collected on a yearly basis. Almost 2.5 million records have been exchanged to the platform in 2024. That is a staggering more than 200% increase compared to last year. Next slide, please. The big part of our work is separating between known content and new content. This is because hash matching with known content keeps our analysts safe and only triages the content that they need to see. Still, if we only separate the new content that the analysts see, it is still a staggering number. Almost 1 million records needed to be seen by analysts to be processed to law enforcement and to hosting providers further. This is a 35% increase total from what we have seen last year, and a 37% of total from the number of exchange reports. Go to the next slide, please. In the end, from this entire funnel, not all content that is reported is in the end classified as illegal. Part of that is because entire websites are hosted, are reported within the platform, and some of them start with very innocent legal material that goes into severe abuse. This is why you will see us separating to track how much of the entire cohort of material is illegal. In 2024, this number was 65% of the total, and the total number of illegal material is also almost 200% increase. In the end, you will see us referring to this material as exchange content, new content, etc., etc. And when we speak about content, we speak about individual media files that are hosted online on the public web. But you will also see us speaking specifically in the annual report about records of online child sexual abuse. This is very intentional. We want to basically educate the public that there are real children behind these images, and there are real crime depicted in these images. Therefore, we also collect demographic information about what is depicted in these pictures. So you can see that we have collected the age of victims, and similar to previous years, we have seen that 93% are in the prepubescent age category, 7% in the pubescent, and a very small percent in the infant category. Next slide. When we speak about gender or biological sex, we have recorded that 98% are female, and this remains a highest category. The male category is less than 1%, and both is almost 0.5%. We do have studies and records coming from our hotlines saying that male victims are probably underreported. So this is just an indication of the data that we have collected and the data that was exchanged throughout this year. Next slide, please. In the end, as a network, we want to measure how well we are doing across collaborating with the different stakeholders, how fast we have reported the law enforcement, how fast we have reported it to the hosting provider, and in the end, how fast we have removed this images and records of abuse from the web. You can see the statistics here. The reporting to the law enforcement and the hosting provider is almost instantaneous because very often it happens at the same time, whereas the removal from the web sometimes on average takes 4.2 days. When we go into the key trends, we will compare this number against what happens where we have a network and what happens where we don't have a network. This section about the key trends moves away from the raw data and the system recorded within the data recorded within the system to basically paint a picture of what the analysts are seeing. This is data we have collected in monthly meetings we have had with the members, or open-ended surveys that were presented to the members for them to explain what are the reasons for the increase or the decrease in volume that they are seeing. So we will be presenting that section now. Next slide, please. There are 4 emerging data trends that we will speak on today. First of all, it would be impossible to move forward without remarking again on the overall volume. It is unprecedented, and we will speak a little bit about what is the reason behind it and what are the challenges coming from and learnings coming from this number. We will talk about image hosts and forums as being consistently primary distribution platforms where content is found, sextortion tactics, and in the end, what does network collaboration mean within this context? Next slide, please. This record number in context is outsized reporting from a single source. To be frank regarding this discovery process, when we are analyzing the numbers quarter to quarter, and when we analyzed the final quarter, we were unsure if what we are seeing is some kind of technical error or it is in fact such a record high number. And it turned out that we had outside reporting from a single source. A single hotline within the network has reported more than 1.5 million of these records, mostly finding them on a single forum, which is consistently uploading new material. What analysts are also reporting is that there is increased realism and sophistication of AI-generated CSAM. Go to the next slide, please. By the way, our annual report lists and goes into detail on all of these trends, including what are the sources and what are the original quotes from hotlines. Going back, continuing the story about where this content is found and how that volume came to grow to 2.5 million. One of our biggest reporters says that there is so much content that even with their outsized reporting this year, less than 10% can be taken down. They don't have the capacity to report all the content that is continuously being uploaded. Again, the primary distribution platforms are image hosts and forums. Next slide, please. An additional growing trend that is often quoted in open-ended surveys is a rise in sexual extortion, but more broadly, even where sexual abuse does not happen, financial exploitation of children. So every time there is an unprotected messaging platform, a comment section within a platform, it is often being abused where the primary audiences are children. Next slide, please. And in the end, what hotlines are also often reporting is that they are receiving a higher proportion of their reporting coming from inside the INHOPE network. A hotline would usually be made up so that it has its own reporting form to the public, relying on their own citizen to report, but every year the proportion of reports increasingly come from inside the network. This is expected in some way as the analysts become subject matter experts on where content is found. Some hotlines have the capacity to proactively research or follow up on existing reports. So it is expected that the higher proportion is coming from the INHOPE network. What you will also see in the annual report is the difference of responding within the network and outside the network. So the averages vary quite starkly. While within the network, the average to remove content is 1.4 days, the average to remove outside the network is 41 days. Stakeholders and capacity play a significant role in this, including how many analysts exist within the hotline, what is their collaboration with law enforcement, and overall capacity to perform their work. So we hope we can paint a picture basically with this data and with the surveys and anecdotes how the network is quite a larger sum than the sum of its parts. And the network, we have the data and the anecdotes to prove that working as a network is very, very effective. With that, I will hand over to Grete, who will talk a little bit about our growth milestones and achievements along the way as well.
Thank you, Kalina. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, also from my part. It's a true pleasure to present to you some of the key achievements of INHOPE from 2024. My name is Grete Raidma. I'm a project manager at INHOPE. Over the next few minutes, I will walk you through a number of critical milestones we reached and share with you the impact we made in the fight against child sexual abuse online last year. I would also like to take a moment to emphasize that the achievements are the result of the hard work, dedication, and collaboration of and between the INHOPE Secretariat, our hotlines, partners, and donors. So let's start with a brief overview of the 5 key objectives that guide everything we do at INHOPE. First, raising awareness is crucial. It's essential that we inform the public about what to report and where to report it. This also extends to sharing our knowledge with policymakers, law enforcement, and other relevant organizations at national, regional, and international level. Second, expanding our global network is vital. We are actively identifying and supporting new hotlines around the world, offering consultation and training to help them meet best practice standards. This strengthens our global response. Third, we ensure quality assurance in everything we do. This means developing secure, coordinated mechanisms to handle reports of illegal content and ensuring that our members uphold the highest standards in addressing CSAM. Fourth, we strive to grow partnerships. We work with a very wide range of partners, from governmental agencies to civil society organizations, tech companies, and service providers. The broader and stronger partnerships we build, the more impactful response we can give to fighting CSAM. Lastly, we focus on exchanging expertise through fostering relationships and trust within our network, but also with our key stakeholders. We encourage the sharing of best practices and knowledge, which leads to more effective and efficient efforts across the board. Now, let me highlight some of the key achievements of 2024, starting with the network expansion and regionalization. In 2024, we welcomed 2 new provisional members, the Action Against Child Sexual Abuse Initiative Nigeria, and the Internet Hotline Center from Pole to Win in Japan. Additionally, we proudly saw 4 of our hotlines gain full membership status. These were Grooming Argentina, Siguro Online in Moldova, Ocherama in Slovakia, and Mongolia in Ukraine. These additions are significant steps forward in expanding our global footprint. Our network expansion team, led by Samantha, was engaging in numerous stakeholders looking into expanding our network to 10 new countries, including Ghana, Zimbabwe, Cameroon, Bolivia, Costa Rica, Nepal, Tunisia, the United Arab Emirates, Andorra, and Pakistan. Additionally, we have been working to establish a second hotline in the Netherlands next to off limits. Another exciting, if you can go back, there is one more thing I would like to highlight. Another exciting development in the network expansion field is the launch of our regional chapters. In 2024, we celebrated the first anniversary of the Asia Pacific chapter, which is led by our member, the E-Safety Commissioner in Australia. And last year, we also launched the second chapter, which is the Latin America chapter in Bogota, Colombia. These chapters are creating a space for collaboration with a focus of strengthening regional communication and increasing engagement with both current and potential members in that specific area. We can go to the next slide. So moving on to our awareness raising efforts. Last year, INHOPE organized several conferences that reached in total over 670 participants. The INHOPE Summit 2024, hosted by our close partner Microsoft, gathered more than 120 virtual participants and 80 in-person participants in New York to explore the impact of public service announcements and cross-sector strategies to raise awareness and drive communication on CSAM. The European Virtual Forum, with over 300 online participants, focused on creating a network of trusted flaggers. And the Digital Child Safety Forum brought together more than 70 experts to build extensive communications and trust between different relevant sectors that are in the online safety field. We also conducted 7 webinars in the framework of our annual webinar series, attracting over 1,360 virtual attendees. These sessions offered valuable expertise to child safety professionals and engaged individuals from diverse sectors, much like our plans for this year. Additionally, we launched several campaigns The most extensive one was Every Click Counts, which reached more than 5 million people worldwide. This campaign focused on promoting and raising awareness of the possibility to report CSAM among the public. And finally, we also published a global legislative overview, comparing a record amount of 61 national legislations and regulations that govern child sexual abuse and exploitation online. On the topic of knowledge exchange and capacity building, 2024 was a year of immense learning and collaboration. Over 300 hotline members participated in our hotline training meetings, including a major joint training with INSAFE in Warsaw. This drew over 200 participants. We discussed everything from the impact of AI on online safety to the implications of the Digital Service Act. We also coordinated 10 peer-to-peer exchange visits, which allowed hotline analysts to learn from one another and share operational insights. More than 250 professionals, including hotline analysts and law enforcement officers, attended our in-person trainings across the globe. This included specialized sessions on the Universal Classification Schema, designed to improve the identification and handling of CSAM, as well as CPOR trainings in partnership with Interpol to help law enforcement and hotlines to better process child sexual abuse material. If we go to the next slide. Let's now look at some of the innovations and legislative work we've driven forward last year. A major milestone in 2024 was the release of version 2 of the Universal Classification Schema, led by our project manager, Abby. This updated schema is designed to standardize the way child sexual abuse material is classified worldwide, making it easier for hotlines and authorities across different countries to collaborate more effectively. By aligning the language and categories used by various sectors and nations, the schema also plays a crucial role in improving the use of technology to automate the detection and removal of CSAM across the borders. In parallel, we completed the development of CPORT, the law enforcement portal into ICAM. The portal was developed in partnership with Interpol and several national law enforcement agencies. CPORT connects national hotlines and law enforcement, streamlining the exchange of reports, communications, and collaborations in one safe online environment. So the whole idea is that the more similar language we speak when and the categories we use for CSAM, and if we use it in one joint platform, we can optimize the process of removing and detecting the material much better. The portal itself at the moment is being used in 10 countries, and 7 additional countries have requested access to this law enforcement portal. We also saw a couple of major achievements in the legal landscape. First, with regard to the Digital Service Act. INHOPE has been in the forefront of supporting the implementation of Article 22, which establishes the trusted flaggers mechanism. Several of our members, namely Greece, Hungary, Romania, Sweden, and Finland, have already achieved trusted flagger status. Another remarkable milestone to be highlighted is the European Commission proposed recast directive on combating child sexual abuse and exploitation. This proposed legislation requests European Union member states to ensure that an appointed organization like Hotline has the necessary legal mandate to receive and analyze CSAM reports coming from the public and collaborate with law enforcement and other similar organizations across borders. Hence, it provides the opportunity to codify the legal mandate for hotlines to operate. These legal developments are a testament to the growing recognition of hotlines' critical role in online child protection. And the last achievements we would like to highlight from last year are the publications. As already mentioned, our global CSAM legislative overview, which provides an in-depth analysis of the national laws in 61 countries regulating child sexual abuse and exploitation online. It also maps the mandates and operations of INHOPE hotlines across the world. The publication, the report is available also as an executive summary and available in 4 different languages. In addition, last year we further released a digital literacy guide, helping young people understand online safety and also easily detect online risks. Although targeted at youth, the guide is also a valuable resource for parents, teachers, safer internet centers, and hotlines. And lastly, we published a guide for advocacy and legislative changes, which offers step-by-step instructions mainly to hotlines, but also for other civil society organizations in influencing policy changes that promote child protection. And now that you've heard about the critical impact our network has in reducing child sexual abuse material online, the alarming scale of this horrific crime, and the ever-changing methods used by perpetrators to generate and distribute such material, I want to take a moment to express my deepest gratitude to our partners. The work INHOPE has done in 2024 would not have been possible without the incredible support of our partners. From the bottom of our hearts, on behalf of the entire INHOPE network, I sincerely thank you for your unwavering commitment. Thanks to your support, we have been able to carry out essential activities like network expansion, trainings, data collection, awareness-raising campaigns, and technological innovations to optimize the global multi-sectoral response to the distribution of CSAM. It's a difficult and daunting mission, but your partnerships have shown us that there is hope, and if we work all together. Next slide. And if for those who have not yet joined our online child safety community, I urge you to stand with us. At INHOPE, partnerships go far beyond financial contributions. They represent collaboration, shared expertise, and a collective mission to make the internet a safer place for children everywhere. The fight against CSAM is not something that we can tackle alone. It is a shared responsibility that requires the engagement of everyone. And now we are going for the conclusion. If we go to the next slide. To conclude, I would like to share with you 4 key takeaways that our Secretariat put together from 2024. And these are: the power of operating as a network cannot be overstated. It is through collaboration and shared standards that we can truly make a difference in the fight against CSAM. When we work together as a unified network, we see tangible improvements in areas like removal times, legislative updates, and long-term strategies for tackling this issue. Network expansion remains essential to enhance our global reach and ensuring that our efforts continue to evolve. But just as crucial is our ongoing work in raising awareness. This is a collective responsibility that must include all key stakeholders if we are to reduce access to CSAM, update critical legislations, and drive the societal change necessary for a safer digital world. I would like to last say that we believe that by having all stakeholders at the table, we can forge stronger partnerships and make even greater strides in the fight against CSAM. Last, before giving floor back to Jesus, I would like to thank one more time Resolver for sponsoring this year's webinar series. I'm sure that they are going to be great and very interesting. So I urge everybody to join up for the next ones already. And I would also really like to thank the European Commission for their support in producing this INHOPE Annual Report 2024. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kalina. Thank you, Grete. And thank you not only for your excellent presentation, but also for being able to provide a summary of the report highlights. Thank you very much. The full report will be accessible through a QR code right after this webinar. But now the turn is for our participants. We open the floor to our participants through our dedicated Q&A. Please feel free to share your questions and our speakers will be happy to address them. Let's see if we have some questions. Okay, I have one question for you both. This is, what do you, the president and the speakers, think were the biggest successes of INHOPE in 2024? Let's start with you, Kalina, for instance.
We can start, yes. For me, I think the biggest growth for InHope is growing into a service-oriented organization. I'm quite proud of the fact that we as a secretariat are serving the membership while being in a challenging funding situation across the board with everything that is happening around the world. So I'm quite proud of this team and the network of members, especially for persisting and persevering and doing their work. So that's my summary for the year.
And for me, well, definitely the Universal Classification Schema version 2 and together with Seaport, I believe that the platform for different stakeholders to exchange information, and if the information is harmonized, it has so much potential in the future to optimize the detection and the removal processes. Additionally, already mentioned twice, but I am especially proud of also the report on the global CSAM legislation, because there is no such other report in the world, and I believe that it serves as a great resource for all stakeholders to learn about different countries, how they react to this critical issue, while also calling that the national jurisdictions should be harmonized, because if they are not, it hinders actually the cross-border fight against CSAM. And we know that that CSAM, it is a cross-border crime. It doesn't belong under one jurisdiction only. There will be always multiple jurisdictions involved. So it's definitely an urge to and a call to focus on the harmonization of that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I see two more questions coming from the Q&A section. This one is from Cathal. He asks if that the number of reports has increased significantly this year. What factors could you identify as contributing to this, in addition to the large single contributor? What are the factors that have impacted this increase of CSAM reports?
Thank you. The name definitely sounds familiar, so I can assume our audience member who is asking this question. So apart from the largest contributor who has monitored a specific forum and has consistently gotten in report after report, the biggest growing categories is AI CSAM. So it is becoming too easy to manipulate and create images with young children, real or otherwise. So this is what we see also as a growing trend and a growing category. Those two things together are compose kind of the biggest trends and the biggest shifts that we have seen in 2024.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And we have two similar questions. This one is coming from Aravinda. How can people, organizations join the INHOPE network/community? And linked to that, there's another question about the main focal point for the Latin American chapter.
Well, first of all, of course, there's always the partnerships, but if you want to join the community, you can always write to us in our general information email. If you have ideas how to collaborate, we would love to hear it and explore whether we can actually react to it and we can work together. And regarding the second question, the focal point of Latin American chapter, Jesus, is that you actually at the moment? Are you the coordinator of it? That's more of a question to you, I think.
I am the coordinator together with members in the region, and I will be sharing my email in the question so they can have access to us. And linking to that, there's one more question, this time coming from Amy Crocker. We mentioned statements coming from hotlines about underreporting of male victims. Do you have any further insights into that, into underreported male victims?
Yes, also a familiar name. Cheers to Amy. This comes as a reference from one of the previous annual reports, and I believe it was a study performed by one of the hotlines. I don't have the name and the authors at hand, but we would be able to circulate the study about male victims and underreporting individually. I also see a question in the chat as a comment. Is it possible to say that part of the increase is due to the measures of the DSA? For now, we're not correlating this increase to the DSA, partly because only several of our hotlines have achieved trusted flagger status, and we don't have any industry reporting coming into this system and our system of record. So not currently.
One more coming from Angeliki. Could the contribution of academia, various disciplines, be more impactful, in your opinion, in regard to the situation analysis and a better understanding of it?
I think definitely. However, there's also, I know that for academy, it's difficult for them to actually receive the relevant information because often it's under the protection of law enforcement and they cannot share it with officers outside. And that's also the case with hotlines. We have to be very careful on the information that can be shared. But I do think that there is a lot of potential, and we should move forward to start having more cooperation with research and academy to have better understanding of the global picture and therefore also know better how to respond to this quickly evolving crime.
Thank you. Another question from Silvio Pitran. Are you aware about cases that develop further in trafficking in person after initial identification as a CSAM?
Unfortunately, we don't have feedback information from law enforcement about how our tips have converted to cases and what type of cases those images relate to, and how does that triaging process then continue to victims by being identified and victims being saved. We do have a pilot project trying to, which is Seaport, a platform you may have heard about, where we are trying to establish that connection in a more standardized way. But currently in the data collection records that we do have, we don't have any information about how this data converts to law enforcement cases, unfortunately.
One more from Chris Hughes. Can you share offline the details of the site which had the high numbers of CSAM reports with only 10% removable due to volume, with a view to investigating if collectively we can deal with the issue by working with the registry domain sector?
Absolutely, especially as this question is coming from a member and they are the guardians of the data that we collect it on their behalf. So definitely this single source where the majority of the data is coming from can be collaborated on as a network to either divide the work or have a tactic to separate the workload between the hotlines, definitely.
And as we approach the final 5 minutes of the webinar, I would like to welcome more questions. We still have time for a couple more.
The trafficking question?
Mm-hmm.
No one raised that.
One more question coming from Tiana. Do we have a clear view on the forums that are most represented in the data? Can we take action against them? Thank you.
We know exactly what those forums are. We have their domain and we have records of how their hosting has shifted over time. So indeed, it is a part of a collective action on how we can make these unresponsive platforms responsive and taking down content. So definitely these things are known to the network.
Okay, and one final question. This is, how do we as INHOPE encourage public reporting, and how do we support our members to raise awareness in their countries? Final question.
We are planning to create more campaigns that would be more easier also for our hotlines to implement in their own countries. So this is one of the ways that we would love to make sure that the campaigns of public reporting can even have a broader audience, and that the hotlines can can target them as well. So that's one of the solutions from our part. If Kalina has anything to add.
One resource comes to mind, which is a communications playbook book developed by one of our past projects, where we give basically guidelines to hotlines about how they can have an impact locally within their nationally and internationally as well. So that is also a resource for our hotlines.
And if there are any other ideas, we're more than happy if you reach out to give ideas how we can improve that.
That's excellent. Thank you very much. As I said at the beginning of the webinar, any questions that you might have, you can also email us